be able to use this this platform. So we know 600 lenders have already opted in. Now, there are some lenders that have already said that they will not be opting into the portal. I don't know the reason why. Maybe they already have their processes down, because some of the financial institutions are doing very well processing forgiveness, because millions have been forgiven already. I know the lenders that I have gone through were really good throughout the entire process, has already notified me and other applicants that they're ready to go. They're already accepting 2021 forgiveness applications. So you need to know if your lender is ready. So some people informed me yesterday that their lender had just reached out to them and let them know that they're getting ready. They're not quite ready to start the forgiveness process. They may still be working on 2020 loan recipients before they move on to 2021 recipients. So I know both of my lenders, one is PayPal and one is my business, where I do my business banking, which is Huntington. Both are accepting 2020 and 2021 applicants. So yesterday, before we even opened this portal, I actually submitted applications to both because I actually received PPP 3 times. So I applied for forgiveness for first draw for one business and first draw for the other business. And it was a simple process. So even if you go through your lender, this is those for 150,000. It is really a simple process that you go through. So I'm anticipating that the same questions that they ask are the same questions that are asked here. Now I can tell you, when I applied yesterday, I have my loan number, so I logged into my portal. That's why it's so important that when you have a portal, that you know how to access your portal, and you remember or maintain those login details so you can easily go in and access your information. So it was really simple. I really know that information by heart. So they said I went into the application, put in my login details, and when I logged in, it already had my SBA loan number there. So they're going to be looking to match your loan number, your application number. And you'll see that when I talk about that on the portal. You'll see it on the screen. If you don't see it all the way clearly, don't worry about it. The link to this portal is in the description and the show notes of this video. But again, yesterday, both of the lenders, the process with the lender I went through yesterday, it was the same. It was pretty simple. Logged in, it told my loan amount, right? So once you put in your information, it gave me my loan amount, and it also had my loan number, application number there. Then it asked me to verify some information. Very simple questions. How many employees do I have? We know I have contractors, so I don't have W-2 employees. So it's one. So you just want to remember that if it's just you, you're a solopreneur, self-employed, no employees, you're an employee of one for the purposes of this application. So they did ask me that, and they asked me, okay, they had already pulled up how much funding, right? How much my loan was. And it also asked, okay, of this loan, how much would you like to be forgiven? So when they ask that question, you want to put all, unless you know that some of the money you receive is more than what you would qualify for forgiveness. That is probably a rare occurrence, but what you want to do is ask for full forgiveness. So the same amount of the loan, it should be the same amount that you're asking for forgiveness. And so then it asked me also if you wanted to verify your demographics, because they do keep that information. They do report out on it. And then it was really that simple. And then unless you have some additional documentation that you need to provide, like for second draw on the back end, because you didn't have to provide it on the front end, that's to verify that 25% decrease. But right now we're working on first draw. I know some people are already on their second draw. I will be submitting my second draw application on Monday. So I have not done that yet. But it's a really simple application, and I'm anticipating it will be the same for this portal as well. So I want to just walk through this portal really quickly. I have already logged in. So once you click the link, it will bring you to the main page. It used to say it was still in the pilot. Now you can start, and then you have your login details too. So once you register, you can log in again through that main page. But once you register, right, once you put in your information, I put in dummy information just to do the testing for the purposes of this video. Once I did this, will actually have you verify your email. So they will send you an email to your email address, and then you will click a link that says verify your email. Then it will also have you go through a two-factor authentication. So it had me do that. I put in my cell phone number, and then it gave me a special code that I had to put in. Once I put that in, then it brought me to this screen that you see on here. Okay. So this is your portal. Once you do this, and this is my portal, it tells you how quick it is. Your request can be finished in 10 minutes. It is not an exhaustive process. So it's giving you this notice here. Important before you begin, please ensure that you will be authorized signer on this forgiveness request, and that you have authority to act on behalf of the PPP borrower. Okay. I know when I did the application too, there was a checkbox that I had to, or a yes and a no, that said that I had to verify if I had a PPP loan over $2 million. So I said no. Okay. I said no because, again, the simplified 3508S application is for those with 150,000 or less. That is what they're following, whether it's this portal or your lender's portal. That is what they're following. So that's what makes the process simple. So to complete the request, you will need your PPP loan number. So I just said that. If you've been given the loan, you go back to your email. Hopefully you have been storing that in a PPP folder, and you have your loan number, because you will need that in order to request forgiveness, and your TIN number. So either your social or your EIN, which is your business tax identification number that you use to apply for the PPP loan. Okay. So it asked me for that, and it's going to ask you that here. And once you click start forgiveness request, it will have you put that information in, and it will look up your loan. That's how easy it is. So you can see at the top, you can track all your requests. You can start a new request. And then here it will have your business name, your SBA number, and your loan draw and the status. So it's identifying, is this a first draw forgiveness application? Is it a second draw application? So you definitely want to apply for your first. If you got first and second, you want to make sure that you apply for your first draw first before you apply for your second draw. It will also ask you for your covered periods. Okay. So we talk about this all the time. So for the loans, your covered period, depending on when you apply for the program, will be between 8 weeks and 24 weeks. And then it will automatically populate your covered period start, which is the loan date, right? And then you would calculate anywhere in between 8 weeks and 24 weeks is what you're putting down is your end to the close period. Your first and second draw loans should not overlap the periods. You need to exhaust one period for the first loan, exhaust the next period for the second loan. So that's why I'm waiting till Monday, because of how I calculated my covered periods on my first draw loans. I don't want anything to overlap to cause any types of delays, or for them to second guess what I'm doing, or that I spent my funds. But know that before you even submit forgiveness, make sure you have spent the funds on eligible expenses. Make sure 60% has gone to payroll. If you're like myself and you have 0 employees, you can spend up to 100% on payroll related costs if you choose to. Or you can do the 60% and 40% on other eligible expenses. It's up to you. But if you have employees, it's the 60% on payroll and then 40% on other related expenses. And so again, this is the portal. It should be simple. You should be able to find your loan application. in here if you have a loan that you are looking to get forgiven. And so this process should go pretty quickly. I can tell you that my lender on the portal is stated that it could take up to 60 days. So I will be tracking and I will be reporting out my status. So as I always do. So once it is approved, I will let you all know, because I will be tracking the day. Did it take 10 days? Did it take 30? Or did it take 60 or more days for me to be able to get my loan approved? So we know that many are being approved already. I know some people had explained that it has been like a month or so, but that's good because they're looking at the data behind the scenes, right, to make sure that everything is accurate. I also said that there are some instances of what they call overfunding, where you may have been overfunded. And what that means is that anything over $10, if it's considered overfunded, then you do need to pay that back, whether it was an error on your end or an error on the lender's end. Now, in the event that, okay, say you request forgiveness and they say, no, we're not going to forgive this, and they need to issue you a reason why. Or if they say, okay, and we're not going to forgive 100%, we're going to forgive 50%, and you want to appeal the decision. All of these applications have an appeal process. Now, once you're going through the appeal process, they have actually changed some of the requirements. And so if you are in appeal, you will not have to be responsible to pay principal or interest fees on the loan amount while you were going through the appeals process. Okay, there was a announcement and change that was made in June by the SBA through one of their procedural notices that they put out. So I want you to be made aware of that as well, because you have, I believe it is 10 months after your cover period to start paying back. That means after 10 months, then you will actually get a notice to start making those payments back on your loan. So that's typically how it works. So you need to remember when you got the loan and be tracking these days accordingly, so you're not surprised that you have a notice in the mail that you have to pay it back. Now, there are some borrowers, right, that know, they anticipate that they will be paying back. So even if you're in a situation that you do pay money back, it is a really great loan terms, right? So it's 1% loan. And then it is between 2 and 5 years maturity date on your loan that you have to pay it back, depending again when you took out your loan. I believe anyone that applied and received funds before June 5th of 2020 or under the 2-year period, unless you had some type of a modification, which some people did with their lender. Everyone else is under the 5-year, which was changed because there were multiple changes to PPP and extensions since it started under the CARES Act. So again, it could be 2 to 5 years. And definitely if you applied in 2021, your maturity date on the loan is 5 years. Okay. So I just want to make sure that you all are clear on that. So we want everybody, as many of you all, to get forgiveness as possible. And there's really no reason why that you shouldn't be able to get forgiveness. But some of you all, just a reminder, had other people completing your applications and you were not part of the process. So, some of you will be blindsided, and I want you to anticipate that, not everyone had good people working in their best interest to help you through the process. Okay. And so if they or you intentionally or non-intentionally, made errors, then again, it may result in an overfunding. If there's some reason that you were flagged for fraud, then you're under investigation, you may get a demand notice saying that your entire PPP is due ASAP. So we have a ton of videos, explainer videos on the PPP program on our playlist on our YouTube channel. So I encourage you to go check that out, especially if you need additional assistance on applying for PPP forgiveness. We have tons of forgiveness videos, explainer videos, and we have videos on scams, how to avoid them, how to know if what you're spending the funds on is an eligible expense, because it needs to be an eligible expense, okay? And how to also make sure that you are tracking and preserving your documents to make sure that you have an audit trail for yourself, and in the event you are asked to provide documentation later by the SBA, the IRS, the OIG, or any other government entity that may want to have access to your information. Know that your business is public information, and also your PPP loan. Anybody can search your PPP and find out, did your business get a PPP loan and how much of a PPP loan you received. That is not private information. That is public information that anybody can search. So you can search your own information, or you can search your neighbor's information down the street or around the corner. It is public information, as is all of the funds that have gone out through the various stimulus programs through the SBA. Okay. So I think that's it for the PPP. There's been some more updates on EIDL. I'll wait till tomorrow to get that. I'm still trying to verify, because there's a lot of misinformation. So please be careful of the information that you are taking from people. And then it gets people scared and nervous, and oh my goodness, this is happening. So you just want to be careful and mindful of who you're listening to. So not all information is accurate information. Okay. So I'm going to just stop sharing my screen at this point. Okay, and so I'm just going to go through here. I see all of you all commenting. I can see a lot of your comments. I just want to check to see if there are any major questions out here. Again, if you have applied for PPP forgiveness, let me know. If you have any questions related to PPP forgiveness, let me know as well. Someone is asking, can we apply for second draw now? It depends on your lender. First, you need to apply for your first draw. So the first question is, did you apply for forgiveness of your first draw PPP loan? If you have, then you need to see if your lender has now opened up for you to be able to apply for the second draw. Okay, that's how it works. It all starts with your lender. And this is a reminder that only 600 lenders are actually have actually opted into the SBA's portal. That represents only 30%, which is a good number, but only 30% of the eligible loan applications or loan funds that are out there that are to be forgiven. That means 70% of the lenders have not yet opted in, which means you have to go through them until they opt into this program. So today is the first day, so they still have time. There has not been anything stated as to a deadline as to which the lenders need to opt into this program. Okay. So this info only if you get approved. So this is to advise you if you have already received funds. The program is closed. So it's closed. Okay. So no more money will be given out through this program. There's other programs available to give stimulus to entrepreneurs and small business owners. But this program is closed to new applicants, because I still get that question. This is for those that already have your loans and you don't want to pay them back. Okay. If you don't want to pay them back, then you need to request forgiveness. It is not an automatic forgiveness, and you won't have to pay your loan. If you do not request forgiveness, then you will after 10 months after your covered period, you will get a notice in your email or in the mail stating that you need to start making your payments. Okay. So we already know some of those that have already were funded in 2020. That started in July. So they already started getting their notice if they have not already applied for forgiveness. Okay. So another person is saying, I applied for first draw forgiveness through their lender, but haven't received forgiveness yet. So it takes time. And I don't know when you apply, but like I just said, my lender clearly stated that it could be up to 60 days. So if you apply, just let the process see itself through. If it's been a month or 2 months, that is really nothing. I mean, if you know how long we've been waiting, months and months, and like sometimes years to get access to these programs, a month or 2 months is not a long time. and that is the estimated time frame in which you will be forgiven, because it first goes through pre-approval of your lender. Then the next step is to get for the SBA to actually say that they're going to approve. It's similar to when you apply. It's really a two-step process. The SBA is the final approver if it's going to be 100% or partial forgiveness or no forgiveness. So you really want to pay attention. What you're looking for is 100% forgiveness. Someone else is asking, can you ask forgiveness at 12 weeks? Yes, anywhere between 8 and 24. It depends on your cover period that you chose to use your funds. So 8 to 24 weeks. If you any applicants after June 5th of 2020. Okay, so it check with you can also check that with your lender. If it was prior to June 5th, then you're under an 8-week cover period, and unless there was some additional changes that your lender made. So that's why I said every applicant is different. It depended on what part of the year you applied to the program before they actually changed some of the rules. Like I said, they had several extensions, new bills that came out that made improvements to the program that increased the cover period and increased the maturity date on your loan as well, giving you more time to be able to pay back that loan should you have to pay it back. Someone else is asking, so what happens if some of us just received the first draw not long ago? It is not the 10. Oh, then don't worry about it. Just work on spending the funds in the time frame and the cover period that you are allotted. Is between 8 and 24 weeks. So you don't even need to at this point worry about forgiveness. Again, you have 10 months after your covered period before you have to start paying it back. So you just need to be tracking the process on your calendar and keep up with that. So you still have time. It's not like, for some of us, if you're in 2021 and you apply, you have time. But I know a lot of people, time gets away from you and you say, okay, I'm going to get back to this later, and you wind up never getting back, and then you'll have a bill in the mail. So we want to avoid that. So as soon as you're able to apply for forgiveness, you met the eligibility and your cover period has been met and your lender has opened up the applications, then get your application in. So that's what I did. So I didn't immediately apply. I've been tracking to make sure my cover periods have expired. They're not overlapping between the draws that I took out, and that my lender was actually ready to start accepting my applications. Okay. So I'm just looking to see if there's any other questions out here. And again, if I don't get to your questions on the live, again, I always follow up with the comments after the program. Yes, you still have time to apply for forgiveness. Okay, great. So great. You have that answer. Awesome. Okay, is it asking for documentations to be uploaded? It depends on your application. I was not asked to upload any documentation because for any loans under $150,000 for first draw, there is no additional documentation that you have to submit or upload. That's what makes the process easy. Okay, it's simple questions. Unless you're under investigation or something else happens, they will notify you of that instance. However, with second draw, there was a slight difference in that you had to verify that you had a 25% decrease in gross sales, gross receipts, gross revenue in a period, right? A quarter or 8-week period compared to that same period in 2019. Now, you did not have to provide the documentation according to the SBA when you apply. But if you did not provide it when you apply, you will need to provide it on the back end. Now, I can tell you when I applied, I gave all of that information, the documentation up front. So I do not have to provide it on the back end. So I haven't gotten to the second draw yet to see what that looks like. So, once you do, come back and let us know. But I think most of us are still on our first draw, but I do know people that have gotten their first and second draw. But I know people that have multiple businesses too, right? So I got 3 PPP fundings for 2 businesses, and yesterday someone said that they got 5 PPPs, right? Because you were able to apply for any legitimate business that met the eligibility requirements for this program. So, and many people didn't know that, right, until they start seeing our show. And then they realize, oh my goodness, I have another business. Like, even that slipped my mind when I was applying for the program, because I'm applying for all these grants and all these different funding opportunities. Then I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't apply for my newest business. But you could do that. So some people have multiple businesses like I do. And for each business that has a separate business entity, they submit an application. So they have to follow up with all 5 business applications. And kudos for them. Congratulations for them to be able to get funding to do that work, to be able to get that funding for their business. Now, though, you have to go through and get the forgiveness. So once I get forgiveness, I'm looking forward to it. If I happen to encounter any challenges or anything, I'm very transparent. I will let you know that, but I always tell you I'm very persistent, and I will, if I feel that there was an error, I will appeal. And I always encourage you all to do it. I will fight to the end to get to the money that I know that I am entitled to and I deserve. So I would encourage you all to do the same. Okay. All right. So that's it. And again, if you haven't shared with me, just let me know who you are. What is your business? I love to know. I love to meet new entrepreneurs, small business owners. I do that all the time. We love to do that and connect and collaborate. That's what it's about. That's how we're going to get through this pandemic. We're still in, right? Businesses are still being impacted. And I mean, it could close down, and they're putting in even new, more stricter protocols that these things do impact small businesses. So then you need to know, how do I continue to survive? How do I access these funds and other funds that keep me going while we're trying to get through this? Because we don't all just want you to survive. We want you to thrive in your business, and you definitely can. So we appreciate you. We wish you continued success. As always, continue to be the boss with amplified impact, and continue to stay in good health and stay safe. Have a wonderful day.